Hi everyone, welcome to a new day, and let's start off with our quote of the day. It's going to be Psalm chapter 91, verse 1. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. Okay, so and we're going to be covering the topic of script output using the write output. So let's get started. Okay, so what is write output? So write output, it sends data to like a pipeline. It actually displays text directly to the console as well. So the same way how we've been using write host, you could use write output. And we could say, actually, let's edit this, change this to write output. All right, let's run our code of the day again. And you can see nothing has changed. So it still writes to the screen. So there's no changes there. So that's the basic usage. So you could actually use it as you use write host in terms of just displaying the message to the screen. But where it becomes different is because the write host, you could also pipe the message to other parts of the code, and that's where it's different from the write host. So the write host cannot do that. So the write host, all it could do is just print the message to the screen, and that's pretty much it. But if you wanted to use that message like to pick it up in somewhere else in the code or use it in some other function of the code, you would need to use the write output, and we'll demonstrate that here right now. So I guess I wouldn't go through like how it could print to the screen because we already know that with write host. So let's just kind of jump in what's making it unique. So let's say we wanted to have we have the quote string here, and we could actually just type this to make it write output in front of it. Alright, so once you declare it that way, and we can do write output this, so it actually declares it as a variable, and it should show up the same way, showing just the quote string. So let's check that out. So you can see that even though I declared write output here, it just took that and put this whole variable in here, and then it outputted it the same way. So that's one way of using it. And you may say, well, why would I want to do that? But it could be an output of a different, you could have had some code before this where you needed to have the right output into that. So that kind of gives you the example of outputting it to a variable. And I guess you could do the same thing if you wanted to do, so for example, we want to do multiple outputs. Okay, let's try this. Alright, so it outputted the 1, 2, and 3 here. Now, this is where its power is used to, we could use the write output, and then we could, maybe let's try to use a loop here. So we use the for each object, and then we'll put a $sign underscore. So let's kind of like turn all of them to uppercase. So we're calling the uppercase function here. Alright, and let's maybe just kind of put a little space there so you can see what we're using here. So every time it loops through, so it's kind of going through this kind of list here. So every time it loops through like one of these, that gets replaced with a $sign calling the upper function, and then it should output everything in uppercase now. So let's try that out. There you go. So you can see it change it to uppercase here. You just put a CLS in front of this. Okay, so what else could it do? It's pretty much anything that you could think of that you could pipe out. So pretty much it's taking the output of this, and then it'll take that data and then you could call um, other commands or functions after it, and that data will be fed into these. So we could do another demonstration here. So let's kind of like output it to a file. So if we do, let me just take this out. So we'll do out file. I know we haven't talked about this one, but this is how you would create a file. You would take the output to this file. So I'll call it output.txt. Alright, so what it will do here, it will take these values and write it to this file. So let's run that. Okay, so if we try to find that file. Alright, so let's go into our directory and see if we can find the file. Well, I could code it up here so that way you could see it. So let's comment this out. And I don't remember, we covered this, get content. This is how we're going to read the file. And then you put the path variable and then you just give the full path to it. So we know it's in C scripts and then output.txt. Now we got to write that to the screen. And like I said, you could choose either write host or write output in this case. So since we're covering write output today, I'll put write output and then result. So let's see what happens here. There you go. So you see it kind of wrote everything, the 1, 2, and 3 out to the file. So when we use write output, you actually could have it piped to another part of the function. Now if you use write host, that's the difference between the write output and the write host. The write host is only good for printing on the screen, and that's pretty much it. So if you need data to be fed into, this could cover both, like writing output to the screen and then writing output to another part of the code, or write it to kind of be the input to another function. That's pretty much what it does. Okay, so I don't really need to cover any extensive. I mean, you could practice maybe using the output to feed into other input as other functions or commands. I mean, if you want to try it out. So the summary of it is like the write output will send data to the output stream or a console, which is like the screen here, and that can be used to pass data between the commandlets, which is what we were showing like from the pipe. That's how you send it between the commandlets. And then PowerShell will automatically output the value if they are not assigned to a variable or otherwise consumed. So for example, if we didn't have this output to a variable, like how we showed over here, then it would just print out the actual code itself. So that's pretty much it. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's go over our quote of the day. So let's print that out here. Okay, so it's going to be Psalm chapter 91 verse 1. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. Alright, so that's our quote of the day. Don't forget to read your Bible, and if you're not going to church, don't forget to find a good Bible-based church. Alright, see you in the next video. Thank you.